Good morning, everyone. General Kendo 2. Good morning. December 9th, 10 a.m. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Any person may appear before the court at this time to speak on any general issue or any.
If I may, Judge?
Yes, sir.
At this time, we have 51 inmates, which is good at the end of the year. As we mentioned last time, we no longer have females in the custody in Clayburgh. They did not pass their inspection, so we're not able to house female inmates, but we do have them in space. We kicked off the meeting with the Motorola, as I informed you, Judge. The first phase of equipment has already arrived, so we're beginning to do that. I went before and took 4 of the burial veterans with me to the Wyatt Ranch last week, and went before the board and asked them for a grant. They were having problems with their van for the longest time. They've been stranded before funerals. We were able to obtain $50,000, which was awarded to them Thursday here at the sheriff's office, and they will be purchasing a new van for their services. They buried over 1,500 soldiers in the time of existence. We also have made 9 arrests, felony and misdemeanor arrests. It's called the Blue Christmas operation that we had with the interdiction officers. We will have a news release today on some equipment that was stolen in the Alfred area. The individual will pick up Friday afternoon. That's what we have.
Sure. Thank you. Anyone else that'd like to come up before the court?
Good morning, Commissioners. I know I've spoken with some of you at length about the county burn ban. There was a period of about 2 weeks ago where the county did fall under threshold to remove the burn ban for a little bit because our KBDI fell below the 500 threshold, which is the recommendation to have the burn ban in place. That has since, it literally only lasted about a week at length, so it was good to keep the burn ban in place. As of today, we have an average KBDI indicated by the Texas Forest Service at 526. That is once again above the threshold to have a burn ban recommendation in place, and I'll continue to recommend that we have that in place. Obviously, with some of the commissioners that I've talked to, there's been some confusion, perhaps or not, if the burn ban is still in place. We still have it in place, obviously, but it's a very tricky situation because literally half of the county is under a moderate drought, and which is the central and northern part of Jim Wells County is under a pretty decent moderate drought, and from Alice southward, almost no drought exists. So essentially from Fremont southward, everything is fine. So it makes the recommendation for a burn ban a little tricky because, as I mentioned, half of the county is decent and in good shape, and the other half is not. But as the emergency management coordinator, it's my job to consider Jim Wells County as a whole, and from Alice here to Orange Grove to Alfred to Sandia to Lake Corpus Christi, it's in pretty bad shape as far as drought is concerned. So there is a moderate drought from Alice northward, and in south we are just abnormally dry, just south of the city of Alice, and then no drought at all for just south of Fremont, just the very southern tip of Jim Wells County. So I just wanted to give you information on that. again, it makes it a little difficult to enforce a burn ban as a county as a whole, especially for those who like to burn, brush piles and things like that. We still have the exceptions in place. If any farmer, rancher, or resident would like to burn, they still need to request permission from the sheriffs and alert the nearest fire department as well, so.
It's not quite permission, is it? It's just to
It's
let
to
them be aware.
inform, yes, it's informed, yes. And
Because they'll
also,
call us and there's always a miscommunication between us and the sheriff's
And
department, and it's simply because of different, dispatchers being there at different times.
there's a lot of things, you know, for that special circumstance to take place, I mean, it's not just letting them know. I mean, you have to take into consideration
It's not
the
that complicated.
the
We're
weather
bird man,
parameters, right?
that's it right
Yeah.
there, so.
If you do get the exception, you know, you can't go burn if there's a 50-mile-an-hour wind that day.
Yes.
You know, everything has to be perfect in order for that burn to be taking place. So that's that. I wanted to give you an info. It's still the recommendation of the Emergency Management Office to keep the burn ban in place, and I'm still reviewing that weekly, because I know this is a big issue for the entire county. So if there's ever an instance where I can recommend we take it off, then you'll certainly know about it. I also did want to let you know that the COG is going to be delivering the Emergency Operations Center new equipment, which is a new telephone line and some new visual machines that we can use in our Emergency Operations Center. That's going to be delivered next Wednesday, and I'll be getting with Robert with that soon and seeing where we'd like to place that and that sort of thing. I will have a meeting with area firefighters, including Fremont, Alice, Orange Grove, and Sandia on Wednesday, because they want to talk about the new communication towers, that sort of thing, perhaps getting some grant funds for new walkie and so I told them I'd be there for that. And also for the past couple of weeks, I've been dealing with GrantWorks and the courthouse generator. So I'm working with Paul Pilarczyk with the engineering firm in Corpus, and we're trying to work with FEMA to get information on the elevation of the courthouse to make sure that it can withstand a 100 and 500-year flood. And FEMA is pretty much suggesting that we're not. I think that we are, especially with the levee in place on the south side of the city of Alice. It's getting a little dicey as far as specs and numbers and that sort of thing, so we're trying to push the generator grant through, but it's still a working process.
Hopefully this time we'll.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think it's great.
Anyone else that'd like to go before the court?
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Real quickly, I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention at our office, we're having some major issues with our internet system. We use a program out of Austin called JCMS, and basically we use that for everything from entering kids to the chronos that they make, phone call chronos, all that stuff. And it seems like, I guess, the last 6 or 8 months, Robert, it's really gone downhill. Friday, it wouldn't come on at all. And another problem is they could be typing something, if they don't remember to save it right away, and it goes off, they lose it. And then every time the internet goes off, well, then one of the secretaries has to reboot the whole system. So I was just hoping that maybe Commissioners Court could look into whatever kind of upgrade we may need over there or whatever, because the last couple months, it's really starting to affect their ability and all of our ability to work on our JCMS programming that we use out of Austin. So, and again, everything's gone to that system now. We can't enter kids, we can't close kids. You know, they have a hard time doing chronos, and so it's constantly going off, and then comes back on, off and back on.
It's not the software, it's the provider, right?
I don't know if it's the provider, or I talked to Mr. Scott, right, that's his name, Robert? He's, with Spectrum, and he basically was telling what we really needed to do is go to fiber, right? And so I don't know if, I don't know where y'all would go with who or what, but it's just that, it's really getting serious for us, because the guys are having a hard time getting anything done. And basically, I just wanted to bring it to y'all's attention, so maybe y'all